respect from Mark.
We've been recording this whole time, okay? And now we're live. The whole world hears us, sees us, and knows that we're on the air. And tonight, we've got a very excellent, special, returning champion. Someone who has been elected the sketchiest, shadiest, most suspect guest to have ever graced the Illuminati confirmed stages. That's right, we are bringing back Ryan P. Peverly Burns. Ryan Patrick Burns is joining us on the show.
You can't say that name on air, dude.
Ryan B on the show today. Bleep that last part out. Let's have some energy, folks. What you don't know, live stream viewers, is we were just talking for 30 minutes, and that'll be exclusive for the Patreon audience. Yes, it's an accident because it took us a long time to get the live stream started. Yes, that won't happen on the next Tuesday when we do a live stream. I promise. I'm your lovely host, Mystic Mark, and I am all decked out in my Western wear, ready to dive in to the Skinwalker Ranch mysteries of the Great West. First, we must go to our Western correspondent, Mensa man himself. Chris, how are you, dude?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. People in my Apple reviews said I talk very slow, so I'm going to really try to motor mouth it up this episode and try to talk faster.
Hey, Juan, did you hear about this? It's the new name of 1.5 Mark. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think he talks fine. And he's always on 1.5 on my podcast app, so it doesn't make a difference to me. He's going to be like 3 now. He's going to be go really fast.
Oh my God.
Go make up for it, Mark, because you're going to fuck up the 1.5.
Stop reading the comments, Mark.
And that jokester is the survivor of hurricanes, the homunculologist himself, host of the One-on-One podcast, permanent jeweler. How are you, Juan?
What's up, dude? I want to pull up this picture of our next guest here. Can you guys see this? He's a slippery one. So,
greased up deaf guy?
Whoa. Yeah. You ever seen, are you too old for this show, bro? Where they try to catch
guy?
Where they try to catch the deaf guy. So this is when we're talking to Ryan, it's a little bit like that, right? He was the one that created the bob and weave, the signature bob and weave when it comes to being on Illuminati confirmed, because he is, when you try to pin these Illuminati down,
all right,
they're slippery, all right?
Juan, let's not open up with your pre-written bits, okay? That failed. No offense.
That was improv, bro.
You tried.
Improv.
But that was clearly thought of as you were waiting in a drive-thru for a fountain drink.
Well, I was waiting for Mark to start the stream, actually.
Well, we got it going. We're here. And our goal was to talk about news and shit before we got the guest on. And we kind of talked about all of it, but you have something left, so let's hear it.
All right, so I saw this. I think we are approaching these end times that everybody loves to talk about. And here it is. We have Tesla just unveiled their prototype humanoid Optimus robot. So they're talking about that they're trying to target a price for these for less than $20,000. Now, everybody's seen iRobot, the man that everybody loves to hate, Will Smith, right? A very controversial figure that has been in the limelight as of recently, not for the greatest of things, but we've all seen iRobot. Chris, would you buy something like this, dude? Would you take that Faustian pack?
Hey, you're a business owner. Would you replace your employees with this?
Absolutely. Coming from a business standpoint, 100%.
So right. Well, it depends for what, clearly. I mean, do I think from 1,000 feet up looking down is a good idea or a bad idea at the end of the day? Clearly, I think it's the worst thing that we could ever do. It's duh. It's like every bad movie starts like this. But do you see car companies assembling cars by hand? No, they have dedicated robots to that job. So it's I don't like the fact that this motherfucker has legs and can get up and walk around. You know what I'm saying? And report back. You know what I mean? If it didn't have Wi-Fi and shit, and it could just make your tea and that was it, I don't know, maybe. But this guy looks pure evil to me.
Did it have Wi-Fi, you said?
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your coffee maker make great coffee. You don't need Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes coffee. That's all it do. So it's like a backhoe, a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this shit don't need Wi-Fi. This shit just works good as it is. So if this motherfucker was maybe just couldn't talk to the, the next level up, which is because the problem is all you need to do is change one bit of code at the top and it applies all the way down. We've seen Star Wars, dude. Come on, man. This is a horrible idea. And Elon Musk, you know better.
Yeah.
There he is at the office, just delivering packages, right? Not complaining, minding his own, but he's going to water the plants now.
Dude,
what's next?
Check
Gonna watch you while you sleep and smother you while you sleep and your entire family.
Have you guys...
Dude, even if it takes like 40, 50 years, like even if it, like we live with these things until the year, like, 2030, like 200 years out, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then one day they can just snap because some coder in fucking Bangladesh figures out the fucking hack. Like, that's what I don't like.
Were you guys texting last night? You guys texted last night, right? In our group chat?
Maybe. What?
Well, all of my text messages were basically blocked until 4 o'clock today, right? So I looked at my phone around 4 o'clock and I had 40 text messages, and I was like, what the fuck? So I combed through all my text messages, and I started to realize, based on the context, that my text messages were stopped last night around 7 p.m. And why that's even relevant or weird is because Alex Jones was in Waterbury yesterday and today, and someone who works with Alex Jones texted me telling me that he would be in Waterbury, and it's very odd that I only got that text message after Alex had already left. So I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid, but my phone stopped sending messages to me around 4 o'clock, around the time that somebody sent me a message saying, hey, Alex Jones is going to be in Waterbury tomorrow. And then all of a sudden, like, I hit this guy up. I'm like, how long is he going to be there? And he's like, dude, he was there yesterday and today. I sent that last night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what?
Illuminati confirmed.
Dude, what is the first internet?
What? What if it's a third world country that don't have internet, bro? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say, Chris.
I didn't even hear what he said.
Why would they target he said that the first thing in a war zone that they do is cut the internet off.
No, so dude, I'm talking about my phone's being monitored and there's specific messages that are being blocked at certain times. Because if I had got that message, I would have went to see Alex Jones today. But I couldn't have, because they block my text messages.
They're blocking my homunculus messages to you at 3 a.m. That's what they're worried about?
They blocked them all because they saw that one come in about Alex Jones, so they intercepted it so that I wouldn't go and support our man AJ in Waterbury. What do you think? Is that far-fetched? Well, sketchier things have occurred, and speaking of sketchy things, we have our guest joining us. He is awesome. We love him. He's a nice guy, but he is a little shady, and here he is. We just let him into the Zoom meeting. Ryan Burns joins us here on Illuminati Confirmed. Ryan.
Illuminati Confirmed.
We are live. Did you sign the clause ahead of time?
This episode is
brought to you by Pfizer.
We love Joe Biden on this podcast, so just a heads up.
Just for YouTube's sake.
Just for YouTube's sake. Here he is.
He's horrified.
Hey, man. Oh, I got no video. Look at my
Hey, there he is. Welcome back to the show, Ryan. How are you?
Doing great. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing well. It's a pleasure to have you back, our first returning guest on Illuminati Confirmed. And you've been on my show, you've been on Juan's show, so it's cool to have you back, dude. What you been up to since? We're live on YouTube right now.
Bro, I've just been getting my mind blown, going down, just obvious stuff, hiding in plain sight, blowing my mind, as usual.
Very cool. Very cool. And for folks who don't know, you're not in exactly the most usual place. You live in quite an unusual place, very unusual on the spectrum of weird. What's the weather been like out there in the skinwalker world? What's Utah been doing for you?
Super rainy, super inclement weather, which makes for a lot of high strangeness. It just kind of energizes in my opinion, it energizes, well, the ether, if you want to talk about it in a very real sense, the ether, or, what a lot of ancient philosophers would call the ether, the area surrounding us, it just gets activated electronically when there's moisture in the air, and it seems like that activates a lot of phenomena. And for those that don't know, I bounce back and forth from northeastern Utah, the Uinta Basin, and Las Vegas, which are both pretty weird places. So it's interesting.
Right on. Well, hey, it's a pleasure to have you back, but I'm not the only host on this show. Chris, Juan, and any thoughts for our returning champion?
Yeah, there was just 33 people in the chat that I saw. So I don't know. It's Illuminati confirmed, but what's up, Ryan? We recently did an episode, and I think, Ryan, you were voted the most Illuminati confirmed guest that we've had. So I think you are the NDA reigning champion, right? Is the one that the person, you don't know anybody else who signed as many NDAs as Ryan has. So, and that's 100% fact, but it's all good in the hood. Glad to have you back on. And I just caught your latest episode. Really excited. I want to talk some Bigfoot. I want to talk some astral projection, some astral realm stuff. So, what's up, Chris? You got something to say?
Yeah, I want to see some of these pictures of some of these NDAs. You know what I'm saying?
Look at the uncomfortable laughter.
Yeah, that's the problem with the only problem I have with NDAs is the non-disclosure part. So there's a lot of interesting stuff taking place in the world, and yeah, man, I just blew my mind after getting on this episode that Juan is talking about. I superimposed the common two snakes climbing up the staff with the wings behind them. You superimpose that over the Baphomet, and you have pretty much that symbol with the Baphomet just kind of hidden there. But that's something that's always escaped me, and it was in plain sight, man. So I'm not as smart as I think I am.
Wait, what's that thing called?
It is called it's called it comes from Dagon, or like the fish-headed Semitic god that was worshipped in Babylon. And there is the snake and staff symbol, which the World Health Organization uses, and that's Alceus, the ancient Greeks, Asclepius, the ancient Greeks basically had this Greek god of medicine, and that was his symbol. And apparently, as far as folklore goes, he had a staff, and these snakes would climb up it. And, it's just knowledge whenever the serpent's involved, or reptilians. And much like the Bible, biting out of the apple, that is considered knowledge when you take that leap and start playing with the snakes. But yeah, that common World Health Organization logo, you see it on every ambulance, on every hospital. If you take that logo with the wings and the snakes going up the staff, and you superimpose it over a Baphomet, it blew my mind. I can't believe I've never heard anybody talk about this. But I was just looking at it on my computer, and I have a framed picture of the Baphomet on my wall, and I looked over, and I was like, "Holy!" As we all do. I was like, "Wait a minute, this is the same thing." But it has it down where its genitalia is, which is very interesting. And just kind of it's blown my mind. They call it also the Asclepian rod. Asclepian rod, depending on whether you're Greek or not. But yeah, that's the ancient Greeks believed that snakes were sacred beings with healing powers. Figure.
Yeah, And part of the snake symbolism is also that they are asexual, so they can reproduce without a mate. So they can just keep on. That's the whole hermaphrodite, androgynous beings, et cetera, et cetera. Can we talk a little bit about, so you're hinting at some sort of sigil magic that these lizard-esque people have imposed in the symbology that we use every single day. Our alphabet is sigils. The entire alphabet is made up. It's man-made. The original alphabet only had like 19 letters, and they've added a whole bunch of different glyphs and symbols that we don't even really know where they came from. But can we talk a little bit about this idea? You put me onto that one book, Camelio, and I know you recently interviewed the author for it. Can we talk a bit about how maybe perhaps this stuff that we're perceiving as maybe demonic or paranormal or something can actually be higher ups in our government using technology to pretty much fuck with us? Because that's also another side of the coin that some people talk about, but I don't feel like it's talked about enough.
Yeah, man, it's heavy, super heavy. There's a government contractor known as Scientific Applications International Corporation, SAIC. They are headquartered in Virginia, of course, and they had, for lack of a better word, a location here in California where this Camelio situation took place. It was Robert Guffey. He had a friend who was targeted by this gang stalking and drug addicts and alcoholics and anybody who is into anything strange are prime targets for this, because mentally ill people, and because nobody's going to believe them, even conspiracy theorists, really. So it's interesting that they targeted this gentleman. It basically, he had a flop pad, where people could kind of surf on his couch. Long story short, he had a guy show up, seemed cool enough, except he showed up with a Department of Defense laptop, over 20 Department of Defense military night vision goggles, and a truck. And when he basically went AWOL off of base and took a bunch of stuff with him. And when he was at this house partying and opened the laptop, and this friend of Robert Guffey's saw the DOD Department of Defense symbol superimposed over the laptop, he said, "Oh no, man, you got to get that out of here." He said, "Oh, don't worry, they can't track it that quick." Just within a matter of a few minutes, they were literally breaking down the door trying to get this stuff, and it was NCIS. Yeah, NCIS, and they wanted these night vision goggles. They care less about the truck and the laptop, but apparently these night vision goggles were of the utmost importance to them. Well, they held the two guys for 72 hours, or one, I don't even know if they let him go, but they held Guffey's friend for 72 hours. And he, continually asked him, "Tell us what you know about the goggles. Tell us what you know about the goggles." He did not have a plausible answer because he really didn't know anything. And they refreshingly let him out. However, the time after this, he was targeted by them, and he would see things that seemed invisible in nature, holographic almost, much like the movie Predator, where the alien is able to literally turn on its invisibility mode, and you see like a blurred background behind it. So that's the long story short. SAIC was the corporation, not to ruin the book for anybody, but that is the corporation that was involved. Guffey did name the corporation in the book. Shortly thereafter, they split, and they did keep the SAIC, but they have another company that is involved in providing more government services that are along the science applications route. So that's kind of the long story short.
So they target people, because my whole thing is, why go after people? Because Mark was talking about how he might have been targeted this past weekend.
No. I think I was my text were blocked last night because I was speaking with someone who works with Alex Jones, and he was instructing me on where I could go to support Alex Jones in person in my own state. So I imagine that if anybody knows what kind of podcast I do, then they could probably assume that it might be better to block my text messages in that certain scenario to stop me from going in and being, somebody who would voice support for obviously a person that's, enemy number one right now.
Yeah, which I think that they're always listening. So they target these people with this tech who are easily dismissible, right? My whole thing is, why target, in this particular case of Camilio, this drug addict, meth head, right? He was doing meth or cocaine or something.
I think pretty much anything on the buffet line. Yeah.
Why target this guy? Why test it out on this guy? Is it because they're just, they can be dismissed easily, or like they couldn't go anywhere else? They couldn't fuck with anybody else except for this guy at this particular location? Or is it some sort of technology where they control entities of some sort? I don't again, because everybody always kicks up the skinwalker to the whole mythology of the Indians, of the curse of the skinwalker. Well, is it really all that, or is it something much more sinister? It's like our own government doing that, and they just say, let's do it in this area since everybody knows about the skinwalker curse. Let's do it in this area, and then people just say it's the skinwalker, but it's actually us messing with people using this technology. That's that's what bothers me. It's like, why pick these people out of everybody else,
Yeah. I think it's because it's so simple to do on our own soil, even though they claim they don't. When you're dealing with some of these corporations, they have higher, basically you better hope you're dealing with the government, because these corporations have a lot more advanced operational measures that can be employed compared to the government. The government is limited by laws and regulations. However, in the corporate structure, a lot of times it's most beneficial to have LLCs with sub-LLC corporations under their umbrellas, where they can compartmentalize these operations in a way where surveillance and reconnaissance, for example, can't be traced back to them. So Camilio was being written by Guffey. He had a friend looking over it and editing it. Just a quick edit, just a college friend. Guffey is absolutely brilliant. And she figured she'd stop at the beach and let her dog out for a walk. And when she came back, her car had been broken into. There was no sign of forced entry. Everything was in the vehicle except for this transcript of the book. And amazingly, that was shortly before it was published. And that's right around the time that these companies, SAIC, and the other one is named Leidos, went their separate ways. It was assumed that this intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance had to do with that. So they almost got the ball rolling before the book was even published. But it was a smooth transition for government companies who had used the SAIC for decades. I mean, we're talking about one of the largest, biggest companies, and it was a surprising announcement. I mean, nobody could understand why it was happening, but they were already shelling off or covering their tracks, so to speak. And in my opinion, it did have something to do with it, but I don't know. These are all theories. And I mean, it's important to have this technology if we are going into battle zones with people that have similar technology. We know that some of the Asian countries have similar technology, but it's just not as good as ours. So it's super important that we have the leading edge, the upper hand, so to speak. And, where else better to test it than San Diego or California, anywhere with people around. Interestingly, SAIC, the location in California across the street was what they consider the most haunted house in California, the Whaley House. And that also begs the question, was that connected in any way, shape, or form? Either the surprising possibility that just having it next door would have an effect on it, or are these people actually testing, some of this technology right across the street? Why jump in the car and go down the road? You can do it right across the street, and nobody's going to question anything because it's a super haunted location, much like Skinwalker Ranch. You could do anything there, and what are people going to do? Get on the phone, call the police, and say, I saw Bigfoot? It's unlikely.
Right. So it creates a perfect atmosphere for, a convenient excuse to write off any strange sightings. How much of these paranormal phenomena do you think can be chalked up to technology, or am I misunderstanding? Are you saying that they are just testing this technology in areas of high strangeness?
Well, it brings me back to this theory that anything that we don't understand can be seen as a magic of sorts, and technology falls in that class. It's difficult because every ancient culture on Earth has had the elites doing things, for example, that they could not understand. They would gather them at the base of the pyramids and say, get ready, we're about to block out the sun, which seems absolutely impossible, yet they already had the astrological calendars and knew that there was going to be an eclipse. So it seems like folklore, it seems like fiction and conspiracy theory, but quite literally, with that knowledge comes power. And I think that we're dealing with multiple things again. And then I hate to always say that because I wish there was a super clear, obvious answer. But when you start putting it all together, there's at least four things at play. And when you look at much of the military's involvement in psyops, for example, and the study of things like UFOs and trying to cover up strange things like Rand Pandolfi at the X-Files desk of the CIA, when you are looking at this stuff, when it's coming across your desk all day, you start to not only believe it, you start to achieve it. You get to know how it works. And I think the exhaustive research that's gone into this lends credence to that.
Yeah.
What was that name that you said? Rand what?
His Ron, and his last name is Pandolfi, Pandolfi.
I'm not able to find anything on
Ron
his...
Pandolfi. Are you sure you spelled his name correctly, Juan?
It keeps switching. Well, Google, right? The lizards at Google keep switching it up. They keep putting Ronald. They keep putting Randall. They keep...
So hard to be named Ron. You know what that's like. Your name Juan. Anyways, so I'm a little lost now after that. And he's back. Here he is. Chris is back. Chris,
yeah.
Thoughts on
it? You could also just do Dr. Pandolfi in CIA. That should pull it up. But his name's Ron.
Dr. Pandolfi.
There we go. Now I found it. Yeah. There's not a lot on him, but he's a CIA role in satellite K-Spurs probe. Has the leading light of the UFO community been briefing. So he is, would you call it the X-Files desk over at the CIA?
Yes, it's an independent investigatory desk, the real X-Files, basically. And it's been confirmed that, members of the U.S. government have been doing this for years. And they have a lot to do with, the TV shows, too, that come out. You see shows like Top Gun, for example, come out. And anytime you see a show with, next level, holy hell technology, like they have that Lockheed Martin space plane that they claim was built for the movie. I mean, let's just think about this for a minute. It's anyway, back to my point.
They're blending, Ryan, they're blending reality with fiction is what they're doing. They're doing magic in real time. They're cinemagicians for a reason, right?
I love that.
So they're taking this make believe, because you're absolutely right. They made this what the latest movie Avatar, Cameron, he made this crazy underwater technology specifically for this movie to be able to shoot these scenes underwater. And now you're bringing something that I didn't even connect together. I was like, is it really for this movie, or are you just commercially testing it out? This technology that you got from,
well, you know, movies are used to launder money all the time. So yeah, makes sense.
Damn, bro, that's fucking
Illuminati confirmed.
2 birds, 1 stone.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan. Continue. That's great. Love that.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I mean, the intelligence agencies have in Hollywood, they have multiple offices. I heard that they are always working on right around 70 projects, which means 70 movies. And they basically choose, you know, the movies that have all the latest, greatest tech have to sign off and have to sign these documents saying that they will put a positive spin on the agency or the country. And it's convincing, because do you want the brand new, awesome, shiny, you know, good stuff? Or do you want like beat up Hummers and lame Hueys? No, everybody wants the good stuff in their movies. And a lot of times it's next level. I mean, we're talking about equipment that costs in the hundreds of millions of dollars sometimes. And you're not going to get that equipment unless you've been developing some kind of working agreement with an agency that, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. They're very involved in the production, and many times they'll go through the movie and say, that's got to go, this can stay, that's got to go. And it's totally true. I mean, you look at movies like Face Off, you look at movies like Top Gun, you look at all of my favorite movies, basically, and they're in tight with these people. You know, you probably aren't going to find this on movies that are more B budget and just not as cool.
Brings me to my next point, because Daedalus, right? The mystical architect, the magical architect, where he constructed the labyrinth to keep the Minotaur in, right? And the Minotaur is symbolic for a lot of different things. And there's this excerpt from a book and an interview I recently did, The Architect as Magician, where the art of architecture is a magical process, right? They're doing divination, they're casting spells, they're doing it's an entire thing. It goes back to ancient Egypt and even further. But Daedalus, he would make these animated robots that supposedly he had to chain down in his laboratory because they would walk out from how lifelike they were. So that's why I brought up the Elon Musk thing at the beginning of the episode, where they just revealed the latest robot, right? They named it Optimus Prime, right? So keep that in mind, because Daedala, right? We have here, I'm going to read this excerpt from this book. This mysterious emanation, whether artificially created or given by the gods, has the power of seduction. Daedala is therefore capable of producing dangerous illusions. Daedala, or art objects, can appear to be what they are not, and the metal plates give a value to the objects that they would not otherwise have. The principal value of Daedala is that of enabling the inanimate matter to become magically alive, of reproducing life rather than representing it. So they're literally, again, the alchemist, the homunculus. Hence, the word also designates Thaumata, marvelous animated machines with brilliant suits of armor and scintillating eyes. The more primitive Homeric texts emphasize the ability of the Daedalus to seem alive. What does that remind you? Oh, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Okay, and it's talking about how these machines literally warp your reality. Bro,
what in the actual fuck kind of tangent are you on?
Yo, I love Chris. Did you notice how he said, and on my next point, we'll bring... You have points for this?
Blending reality with fiction, right? Where these machines, and it goes back to the chariot card, where I'm going to pull it up. Bro, we're talking, these people want to...
Wait, it goes to the chariot card to tarot card. Is that what you're saying? Because Slick Dissident just put in the chat that this episode reminds him of the Tower card in the tarot card because it's number 16.
No, not the tower. He knows which one I'm talking about, but it's not the tower card. It is the
chariot.
The chariot. So I'm going to pull it up here, where again, the suit of armor, right? The full metal alchemist is emanating reality of some sort. This is the Crowley Thoth chariot card, and where you have these weird things. And we speculated on an episode one time that the whoever is behind the suit of armor, right? You have abracadabra up here, hidden, right? Occulted up here somewhere. And the suit of armor is either this is a portal or something. It's emanating reality. So the whole Thalmada stuff is that they are literally using either robots or something that's seemingly putting out something. Because, bro, it's about warping people's perceptions, right? It's not going to be fucking black and white. You know, so when they put out these movies, they're implementing sigils into your subconscious. Me and Chris were talking about programming your subconscious earlier, right? It's linked to all this. It's not going to be, oh, what does the two have to? That's what they want you to think. Oh, what do these two concepts have? How are they related? Well, not unless you're able to see between the lines, you're going to connect the two concepts. But it's all there. They want to literally, and I talked about this last night, bring in that ethereal world and blend it in with the physical realm, right? Pull the two pillars down and collapse reality onto itself. And who knows what happens after that. But it sounds like some sci-fi movie shit. It does. It sounds fucking absolutely crazy. But we got to remember that these people are doing things way above our pay grade. And they've been trying to do this since the beginning of time, bro.
Dude, speak for your fucking self. They ain't above my pay grade. Pussy, what's happening?
Fuck those guys.
That's it. Said my piece.
Oh,
so what do you think, Ryan, with the Transformers warping people's perceptions, right? The full metal alchemist literally transmuting fiction into reality real time with cinema magicians, math magicians. They're using number. You have the Matrix. You have all these things going on. I don't know.
Man, I think it's what's so crazy is you don't actually have to. I agree 100%, man. Whatever you're on, I'm on that kick. I'm about that action because these mythical texts do not lie. The same playbook is being used in current real time. And it's an active role in all of our entertainment. And it's not something that has like a strange lineage. Like they've always had bread and circuses, and they would pull tricks in the Colosseum. They would pull tricks everywhere as long as it appeared frequently, and it had the public's applause, and it distracted them sufficiently to get the real work done, which is usually not anything near what's being shown in the bread and circuses. As long as you're making contact with different perspectives as an elite or whoever is in charge, possibly, the government, which, I mean, just the word, just language is, I've realized, such a codex to just the ultimate toolbox. Government literally means governmentality, which means mind control, which means, governing your thoughts. And then if you look at all of the politicians and the secretaries of the Treasury, the Secretary of Defense, they're secretaries, they're secretaries, which means that they're people who hold secrets. And it's possibly indicating that nothing's really changed since the beginning of time, when the crazy conspiracists or theologists or people like Plato, who basically saw in thinking that the elites were not only playing the ultimate game of bait and switch, but they were elites, which comes from the word elite, the supreme God. And don't get me going on that, because then you have angel and you have elevate and you have elevator.
Elevations in architecture, elevations, right?
Everything. Yeah, it's about moving up. And L is basically that direct divine lineage. You have Dagon, which is where the dragon or dragon comes from, that name. Dagon or dragon, that's the reptilian lineage. You have L and you have Baal. And this all enters the cult of Baal, which started with 2500 BC, but way long time ago. They were already on this tip. They already knew this. The Canaanites, the Pharaohs, Babylon,
Well, speaking of
Elon Musk.
Speaking of dragons, we have the King of England now, who's from Wales. Wales has the red dragon as their logo. You know, we can think of him as having this red dragon energy.
Well, what do we have on HBO right now? The House of Dragons, and then we have the Jeffrey Dahmer. So they're literally eating people, and then they have the House of Dragon, which is the lizard people or whatever you want to, you know, they have these
porn.
two
It's just porn in Lord of the Rings times. That's all that is. That's all Game of Thrones is.
That's what they want you to think, Mark. You see that? You're falling directly into their trap, dude.
I don't
you
watch
see
that stuff.
Don't you see, dude? You're falling right into
I
the
don't
trap
watch
now.
porn, okay?
Where did J.R.R. Tolkien do most of his writing and shit too? You know what I mean? You gotta look at
the library.
You silly.
Wait, where are you going? Hold on, Chris. Where are you going with that?
You're talking about dragons.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this, that, the other. Whales.
And it's knowledge. It comes back to the reptilian brain. It's quite literally knowledge. I mean, Dagon, not to beat a dead horse or a dead dragon, but Dagon was people say, oh, how are they able to manipulate space and time for these portals? Whatever these entities are. Well, Dagon was the brother of Cronus, that's time, and both were sons of Sky or Uranus, which is,
yourself, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's why is space and time so easily manipulated?
Is that the whole deal behind Kronos and Saturn and butt sex?
Totally, dude. That's why. Yeah, that's why. What do extraterrestrials do when they abduct somebody? It's Uranus on the line.
Probing, dude.
And
it's worshiping from the inside out. That's the whole thing.
Inner space.
Yeah, dude.
Totally.
You know?
So, dude, that thing you were talking about before, because it's like fucking bothering me, dude. It's called a caduceus, and it has the snakes on it to represent science.
Bothered.
And no, but it was bothering me because it's a logo.
You got a lot of nerve talking about you getting bothered on this show.
Oh, it's a fucking logo, you silly fuck. Listen to me, dude. I know about logos, dude. I know about like two things.
You
logos
do.
Being one of them.
You do.
So look at it. It's interesting. It's a staff, and where does the staff go? To a sun ray with wings.
In your ass.
Is above every, which is Juan's asshole.
All right. We're on YouTube live, guys.
But it's also in reference to Zoroaster.
The Eye of Horus. The Eye.
Which is a light-based cult, like from the oldest known religion on planet Earth.
Break it down.
It's fucking interesting shit, dude.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. But, some people think that it's not all connected, but it's all connected. And you just have to be able to see where you can connect it. And it seems like reaching sometimes, but hey, dude, I mean, this is what they are pros at. You know what I mean? They go back to ancient Sumerian times, dude. The most ancient piece of literature we have is the Epic of Gilgamesh. What do you think they were doing before that? I want to know what they were doing before that stuff. All the relics and all these things that they've destroyed.
Dude, they weren't paying taxes.
Nah.
Who was it? The elite?
Anybody on planet Earth? You know what I'm saying? They were too worried about making it to the next day.
What are dragons obsessed with? Hoarding all the gold.
Gold, motherfucker.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh.
What the fuck y'all got? Oh, yeah. Which is what the Anunnaki were here for, man. They had to put it in their atmosphere, dude. We need gold, man. You got to pay your dues, man.
Well, that's the mainstream narrative, right? That's like what they tell us. I want to know what they're not telling us, right? They've quite literally look at how they use technology. So earlier you guys were bragging on me about how it didn't make any sense. Well, how they're using AI and technology to warp people's perception. What's the first thing you do when you want to prove somebody right? Hold on, let me Google it. And then you go on your computer and so they're literally using, and whatever Google says is what you prove to be right. Well, we know that they were proving a certain president wrong in real time, where they quite literally changed the definition of a word real time, so he would be wrong. So what's to say that they're not? And who created the internet? Oh, that's right, CERN did, right? And what's CERN trying to do? Oh, they're trying to tap into other parallel dimensions.
Dude, let's not get too carried away here. We only have our esteemed guest. We only have our esteemed guest for 20 more minutes, okay? He's a busy
Fire
guy.
up.
He's got to go unless he has more time to share with us. It's up
Dude,
to
do
you.
we have any photos from Skinwalker Ranch yet, or any kind of evidence?
That's
'Cause I gotta see these big feet.
Ryan, bring up the photos, bro. You
I
didn't
want
share
to
the
get
photos
back
last time.
on track. Back to
Whatever, dude. We are on track. If you listen,
well,
to
here's the
words
thing.
coming out of my
People,
mouth,
listen, people right now, we have the perfect guest to talk about this with. Right now, people are worried, maybe not people like us, but some people are worried because apparently in the midterm elections coming up, the whole UFO disclosure thing is in jeopardy, right? There's some bill that on the floor that might like put an end to this whole disclosure thing that they've been waving over our head for the past 2 years. And I'm like, does this just prove that that was all just a carrot on a stick the whole time, or is it that they found something that is just so mind-blowing that they have to keep it under wraps? Is this just a game that they're playing with us, Ryan, or do you think that it's just like factions?
All right, I'm going to bring it all in. So buckle up. All right. So
I'm buckled.
since we're on this two snakes and a staff kick,
Hell yeah.
we're talking about what it represents as far as reptilians, and we've hit on the theory of El, which is the supreme God. It always comes back, man, and I can't get through a day or a night without waking up at 3:22. Hate to come back to 3:22, Genesis 3:22, Skull and Bones, which is, and the Lord God said, the man has now become like one of us, not like me, like one of us. Knowing good and evil, he must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Well, if you look at the tree of life, believe it or not, the caduceus, the staff of Asclepius, whether one snake or two, that is the original symbol and image for the tree of life.
Holy shit. Okay, Ryan, I don't know if you ever come out to Connecticut, but next time you do, I'm going to take you on a little tour and show you how the Book and Snake Tomb, which is basically like the sister club of Skull and Bones, their whole fenced-in area, it's all caduceus. I don't mean, maybe you've already seen this, but the fence around the Skull and Book and Snake Tomb is all caduceus. Each piece of iron is a caduceus. So, wow, that's incredible that it has a 322 connection.
We're talking about living forever, transhumanism. I mean,
wow.
Literally, this Lord, the Supreme Lord El, which we find out is really the Elohim, which is a multitude of gods, says man has now become like one of us. Knowing good and evil, he must not be allowed to reach his hand and take also from the tree of life, which is exactly the two snakes and the staff.
Which is science.
And let's
Exactly.
not
We're not
forget.
supposed to look into science.
Man.
But if we weren't supposed to look into science, we would never would have ate tree bark and realized it gets rid of headaches and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, so when were we supposed to have stopped?
The apple.
Well, that's fucked because then we can't eat anything.
Listen.
Yeah, man.
So I'm sorry. I just want to say real quick. The Ophites, right? The Gnostics, they worshipped the serpent on the tree, right? They revered it as the because it's Lucifer, it's the light bringer, it's the Prometheus, giving man the knowledge, the forbidden knowledge, right? That you're not supposed to have. And it reminds me of the tree of life, right? Where I had a conversation yesterday, and he talked about how if you're able to transverse the tree in a certain type of way, you can graduate from this level of existence. And that's what I think happened when Enoch was shown all the secrets from all the angels, right? And he graduated and was initiated into what? Into Metatron, into this. He holds reality together, right? And I think that's what they're holding us back from by withholding this information. They know about it. They've read all the books. They've read all the grimoires. They've read everything. But hey, let's occult it from this peasant, right? We can't have this peasant Christopher Prosser learning about this occulted science. No, there's no way. We're going to hoard this knowledge for ourselves.
Homunculologist, you got a shout out in the chat, but I want to reel it back into what Ryan was. I feel like maybe I cut him off. Were you gonna connect that to the disclosure thing?
Oh, totally, man. So we have, as mentioned, the staff and the two snakes, the symbol for the World Health Organization, the symbol for health, the symbol
only
for
one
doctors,
snake.
the symbol for science.
They only got one snake.
That's right. Now, the symbol, whether it comes in one snake or two, now on the Baphomet, there's two. On the original Greek symbol, there's two. And I've got a book. Anyway, I've got a book I could show you with all of the different ones. And what's crazy is it brings us to science, as you mentioned. And what is science? It's horrific. If you go down the Latin pathway in the root words, psi comes from Latin, which is the meaning to know. And ens comes from the word encephalopy, which is basically a disease in which the functioning of the brain is affected by some agent or condition. And it's a toxin. It's a broad term for any brain disease. So we're talking about, it's basically the right to know. It's a trick.
Wait,
Science
is ignorance bliss?
Ignorance is super powerful.
Yo, let's smash these computers right now. I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Look at the Vikings. Look at the Huns. Look at the Mongolians. Any time you have a large horde of individuals who could care less and do not trust the science, they just decimate and almost take over the world. And so, as an overview, I think that science is a symptom. And what about the Romans that did understand science and they were just as much of a problem with it? That's definitely different, because I think that they knew better and then they brought it back. And again, when the Romans turned Christian, that should have been the heads up. I mean, when you had Apollonius and you have these figures who
adepts,
exactly, who know. These are folks that know. And I'll just say this. I mean, these Elohim, these gods with a small g who become the god with a big G, they're already here. They've been here. They're running this. In my opinion, this is all theory, but as you go back through the text, basically everything is always to pursue answers. And when you have the answer, you basically can't talk about it. That's where it always ends up. And those who talk about it don't end up in good places.
So where are they at, though?
I would say most are locked up, covered up, or just dead. I don't know. They're gone.
Is it like you get to a certain degree and they're like, yo, and they give you like a PTA list where here's where you can find all the other parents at their phone numbers and like how, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it a specific group within?
Is that a club?
Yeah, like it's a club. It's a club. And kind of bringing us back to this Camelio thing, the guy who actually invented this technology, this basic optical camouflage of sorts, he was a 33rd degree Freemason. And
Illuminati confirmed.
Even being that high in the club, and not only that, synchronistically, if you don't believe that these things are all the acknowledgement that they're all interconnected, Guffey found out that he happened to be a member at his same lodge after this long drawn out investigation and research into what was taking place. He looked the guy up that had held the patent on optical camouflage, and lo and behold, he's a 33rd degree Mason. It's the same lodge he attends. So he figured
every Thursday, he'd be like, yeah, what up?
Well, Ryan, what degree are you, bro? What degree are you on?
Break it down.
I don't like to think so much as in those sorts of things when it comes to like the great mystery schools, but I do appreciate the great work, and I think that it's been forged by a long line of philosophers and thinkers who many of which have had to meet behind closed doors and in private to bring us this knowledge, because there was a lot of book burning going on back then. So I do appreciate the great work, and I think that it's something that should live on forever.
I want to feel you.
What exactly is the great work in your opinion?
The great work, bro. It's the greatest work.
No. Zip it. We got to have initiated answer this one.
Hey.
The great work is just simply taking somebody and making them better, beyond the bounds of possibility, if possible.
Well, I think that's
beautiful.
Yeah, everybody's reaching perfection in some way, and there is certain courses or paths or ways to go about it, and I don't know, man. The more we speak to these topics, the more I'd like to know what secrets these groups have to offer as explanations for some of these things. But it seems like everything's been kind of publicized. Are there any secrets that are still preserved in these sort of groups? Are there any things that you've come across that are just too powerful for the average person to know?
I think we've dropped a few of them on this podcast. It's seriously, you just have to read between the lines. Everybody's question is, what is the meaning of life? And 322 is basically the meaning of life. It's the magnum opus. It is the great work. It is basically, once you know the difference between good and evil, are you still going to reach your hand out for that power that can corrupt? Absolutely. That's because absolute power. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly right.
What do you say to those who might suggest that these secret societies have been using their occult information to sort of initiate us all subtly into this sort of thinking? That's why we've, reached this peak science position, that never before have people thought in this way. Sort of modern thinking has prevailed. And it seems like secret societies buttressed that pretty neatly in history. Do you think that is a part of it, that we're being sort of conditioned by these groups into a greater awareness?
Super plausible point, man. Yes, I think that over time, it's almost the opposite of what I think the masses believe. And this is, again, just theory, just my own personal ideas, ideologies. But why would great minds meet in secret if they did not want others to know what they were talking about? It is super spooky because that means they're worried that the common man, whatever that might be, reach for these powers, these obvious. You can get online and figure this out at this point, but there's nothing new under the sun. These amazing technologies with Elon Musk, and most of it is for show, in my opinion. But these perspectives have been here for millennia, and there's nothing new about robotics. Look at the Golem. This is simply.
Please don't get him started, dude.
Yeah, humanity must wake up to the new reality that this existence is not, in my opinion, is not extraterrestrial whatsoever. It is interdimensional, and it has been here forever.
Wow.
So, Elon Musk debuts Tesla robot.
Juan, hold on. Chris, go ahead.
Check it out. Calling it a fundamental transformation. The great work. This is what they want. Transhumanism.
Juan, let Chris respond. Chris.
So because we're all clearly occultists here, and some of us are inducted in just lodges and others aren't, I'd say it's probably about a 75-25 thing going on. With that being said, and we're all dealing with the great work here, obviously, right? Which is just become a better person, essentially, right? Leave it better than you found it. Polish that motherfucker up. Whatever you want to say, right? Don't do bad, do good, right? So if that's so easy, I can encapsulate that in one sentence. There's all these lodges of all these people all over the world doing the great work. Why are so many of them seem to be maybe not the best people? So are we dealing with a bunch of fakers, hypocrites? What's really good?
I think it depends on whether you view your life as a literary or an artistic masterpiece. So if you view your life as an artistic masterpiece, then you are definitely going to elevate into a form of light magic. If you view your life in a literary or more material masterpiece, then you're definitely going to be delving into the finances and accumulating that gold, as we discussed, and not caring. I mean, just basically saying, I've got this information now, forget everybody else. And I mean, it makes sense why 99.999% of the world's population would come to that conclusion in about 10 seconds, and why some of these mysteries have to be hidden. I mean, it's so obvious that, well, how else can you hide it? If you hide it, then it's not as obvious because it's in plain sight. It's in plain sight. It's everywhere you look. But if you hide it, then people get confused. And when people get confused,
why would you hide that if that was your mission to do? If that was part of your mission would be to spread that information at the most readily available, correct? I am so confused by people that are occultists because it seems so counterintuitive, because it's like, Joe, right at step one, it just means to say, yo, the message is love, spread that, do that, don't do bad, yada, yada, yada. Everybody knows it since we've been playing with blocks. So why so many people assholes? I feel like
that's a good point. No, that's a super good point, man. Because if you really did live your life like that, you would literally end up at 33 years old on a cross. That is how you will end up. It's been tried out. Look at, I mean, that's exactly how it ends. Try it.
We were just talking about the 27 Club to Mark. You better be careful, motherfucker.
The 27 Club is great. And, you know, if you do get a little bit, if you do get a little bit past that, it doesn't end much better. I mean, they will, in some way, shape, or form, neuter you, at least publicly, humiliate you. You'll end up like Michael Jackson. They'll say you're a pedo. They'll say you're this. They'll say you're that. Because nobody in their right mind, right? Because you have to incorporate the left. Nobody in their right mind would live that way, because we are brought up in a very materialistic society where, especially from a fundamental basis, it's hand to mouth, and it has been for many, many years. And yeah, it's a scary proposition, man. I'm glad you bring that up.
So you're crazy in that line of thinking if you don't behave materialistically. But at the same time, y'all all join groups that says the great work, the thing that you're trying to do, your magnum opus, the nexus is to do this thing. So y'all all hypocrites then.
And it comes back to hypocrisies. Yeah.
Hold that shit, bitch.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's true. It's true. Those responsible for the unexplained want their secrets exposed. They just will not expose them themselves.
Well, I think that's a noble cause.
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I think it's a noble cause. It's a cause that goes unrewarded. I think secret societies are far more ubiquitous in human culture than we realize. And yeah, you know, few of them get the brunt of the blame. But let's not forget the group of people that informed the founding fathers about some of the great ideals that make up our Constitution were a part of secret societies within the Lakota and different various Iroquois and different tribes that, you know, were living here in the States. So, yeah, man, I mean, we kind of dipped and dived all across the map with this conversation. I know you said you had an hour to give us. Any final thoughts before you jump out of here?
Yeah, man. I think the ultimate, if you really want to delve deeply into secret societies, the ultimate example would be Jesus and the 12 apostles who had to meet in secret. And I think Jesus had a very good point when he told them, you will all disclose that you don't know me. So basically, you will do this hypocrisy that has been mentioned. And you will disclose that you do not know of me by the time, I believe, the rooster crows 3 times. And it's not to get all biblical, but I think that, you know, this truth, this folklore, these conspiracy theories, and the facts have always been the same. It's just different stories involved with them. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's probably the most secret society I can think of. And And yeah, they came to the conclusion that they all were hypocrites at the end of the day, except for the one that ended up not so hypocritically speaking at the end.
Give us some titles of books to read, Ryan. What books do we got to read about this?
Oh my gosh. Seriously, there's so many. Look for leather-bound books. I sound like Ron Jeremy. Or Ron, not Ron Jeremy. Look for, what's his name? Ron from Anchorman.
Yo, that was the biggest Freudian slip I've ever seen in my life, man.
Ron Jeremy, he's about to go do some sex magic, guys.
Look for some sex magic book.
Give me
He was in jail forever for doing sex stuff. This fucking idiot got paid to fuck, and now he's in jail for life for doing sex shit.
Oh my gosh.
Bro.
The truth is stranger than fiction.
We forgive the slip, Ryan. So look for leather-bound books.
That was super Freudian. It depends on what you want to look at. If you want to look at like sex magic, I would look for like Maria Naglowska. If you want to look for like just like all-encompassing, like literally the best occult books on the planet are definitely P.B. Randolph. Because of hidden history, we have hidden his basic application and knowledge because he was a black man in early times in the formation of this country. And it's just fate. Go figure. The best books are the most hidden, whether that be Eulis, Eulis. There are other books that he wrote that are absolutely amazing. Magia Sexualis, especially if you can find that if you can find like a older version. Again, look for the old ones, the leather-bound books. All sex magic basically is the example that purity equals power. And if you use your sexual prowess or power in a constructive way, that nothing is more powerful. And you can use it in totally horrible ways too. So you can use it in ways that are devious. And much of the knowledge that Aleister Crowley, H.P. Blavatsky, and pretty much all of the modern occultists that we know of, they stole the lion's share of their information and knowledge from P.B. Randolph. And he has a ton of books. It almost seems impossible for a human being to write that many lengthy, massive books on the subject, obviously channeling. And it's, in my opinion, P.B. Randolph books, next level. You can't go wrong.
Right on. Well,
that's why he was suicided.
Folks listening,
right?
Go over to Hero Paranormal right here on YouTube. Ryan's got his own YouTube channel. He's got his own podcast. Recently had Eric the Adventurer on. He had True Ott on recently, another really interesting character. We should get True Ott on this show. I booked True Ott before. He's even had Juan Ayala on the podcast. Go figure.
That guy sucks.
Gregory Little. He's had Chris Matthews from Forbidden Knowledge News. He's had a bunch of really awesome guests. I'm glad to see that you're rocking and rolling with your YouTube channel here, dude. And I appreciate you taking some time to join us on ours. Is there anything I left out there that you want to plug before you go?
You pretty much did it, man. I can just these are all just theories and opinions of mine. I can't confirm or deny that any of them are actual or true. It's just, there's unanswered questions. And I think that the extraterrestrial hypothesis, much like Ryan Bledsoe says, I believe is wrong. I believe that they are already here, and we're talking about a hierarchy of more powerful entities than we could ever imagine.
Right on. Well, you've been Illuminati confirmed before. Here you are, round 2, confirmed again. Ryan
Illuminati
Burns.
confirmed. What the fuck?
Round 2.
Thank you, brother, for being here.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Enjoy your evening. Take it easy.
It's still recording, definitely.
All right. Well, we got a live chatter who is in the live chat, who we invited anyone from the live chat to jump in here. And the offer still stands. If you are listening to the show, if you're watching the show, put a hand emoji in the chat and we will send you a Zoom link. But right now we're talking to the DMT shaman, the guru man himself. This guy's very cool. He's been following my show for a while. He always comments on the YouTube page. And for the first time ever, we are talking with Three Eyes. What's up, Three Eyes?
Yo, what's up, bro? It's such a pleasure to be on here. Thank you so much.
Oh, shit, dude. Super anonymous. You don't have to turn your video on if you want to remain anonymous. I respect the anonymity with what you might be about to talk about. But if you want to turn your video on, go for it. Anyways, how you been? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. Just kicking it, enjoying life, you know, just existing in God's creation.
Right on. Well, you're sort of I'm great, as you can tell from watching the live stream. We just talked to Ryan Burns, so I'm good. You're sort of prolific in the YouTube comments. You're always very adamant about psychedelics, so you know, we got to get right down to the meat and potatoes here, brother. Like, what's your deal? Are you like a shaman? Are you just a user? Are you just an experiencer, a psychonaut? Like, how would you describe yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much. I would describe myself as a psychonaut personally, just because I enjoy these psychedelics and I understand their power, that they're able to like help you transcend this dimension. So it's like literally like an astronaut. You're leaving Earth to go into outer space, but like with psychedelics, you're leaving your body to go off into like different dimensions.
Damn. So you might have listened to our previous conversation with Matt Reed. He told us some pretty incredible stories of his journeys through other dimensions with the help of psychedelics. What were your experiences like? Anything worth writing a book about? Do you remember any of them? Is it more like ephemeral, like you just kind of experience it and then it's gone? Like, how much of those experiences have been integrated into your mind, your life?
Yo, that's a great question. Honestly, it's like every day doing psychedelics has been like the most traumatic in a good way, like the most traumatic thing ever. It's like winning the lottery, you know? Like, I honestly feel like I've unlocked the key to the universe by doing psychedelics, because before psychedelics, I was focused on the material world and just trying to accumulate the most just stuff, you know? And some psychedelics, what became apparent to me is that our consciousness is at the forefront of everything. And it's not about like Earth really matters, you know, because we're here right now. But what matters is the journey that the soul is on, and trying to fulfill your purpose while you're here on Earth with the time that you've been given.
Right.
Dude, that right there, boom, look at my man's right here. Not only gets it, but can say it in a fucking one sentence. Dude, mic drop yourself, dude. My man. Thank you. I'm going to get a beer. You just did it.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I forgot to get a beer for this episode, too. When Chris gets back, I'm going to get up and get a beer because we can't leave Juan hanging here. But, yeah, man, well said. I would just ask to clarify, did you mean you do psychedelics every day, or did you mean that every day you walk with that wisdom you've gained from psychedelics? I wasn't sure.
Yes, sir. Every day I try to walk with that wisdom. So I try to remember my trips that I've been on, and I don't take it lightly. Like, some people think that it's just like you're hallucinating or whatever, but these experiences have been so visceral, and like they've like changed my life, you know? It's like there's no way it could possibly be just a hallucination. So I've spoken to entities. I've left my body. I feel like I've met God. I've seen like the DMT elves, you know. I've gone to like different layers and different like what they call different dimensions. I don't know. It's just like, what I think it is that our brain is vibrating right now. Earth is like a specific frequency that we're on, and whenever you do psychedelics, you're able to like tune your brain to a different frequency. It's kind of like a radio. And yeah, I've the reason I hold psychedelics so like in such a high regard is because I've tried meditation, and it's pretty cool, but I just understand that it takes years or like a really long time, actually, like a lot of discipline and a really long time to like get these mystical experiences. But with psychedelics, if you take the right dose and the right amount, then you're almost guaranteed like a mystical out of body experience.
Right on. Well, we got Rob, my man Rob, in the chat. Someone who pays me to work with him. He's a cool guy. He's independent worker. Someone who owns his own business, makes his own way. All around good dude. He's here. He's just gonna tune in. I don't know, Rob. Do you want to? You have anything to add, brother? What's going on in your world?
Is my mic on?
It's working.
All right. What do you want to talk about? I was digging that dude that you guys just had on. He was hitting some good points, man.
Right on.
The first cat, I forgot his name. I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, we still got the second cat here, and now you're the third cat. So, but yeah, cat number 2, who goes by 3III. I would ask this to you, my friend. What do you think about, Chris's situation out there in Oregon being in like a totally legal state? I imagine you're someone who would probably be all for that kind of thing, being like, decriminalize everything. Do you think that if we decriminalize psychedelics, it will lead to some kind of change in society?
Oh, my bad. I didn't know if you were talking to me, but yes, sir. So I believe the change honestly starts with ourselves. So my example is that there's people that use psychedelics and go to raves and they have like an amazing time, and they're just like surface level with the psychedelics pretty much their whole life. I feel like if people were to have these out of body experiences on psychedelics, then it definitely would change a lot of people's lives. That's like the main point. So it has to do with the ego. So the ego is like, it's like our association to our body. That's the whole reason why my name is 3 Eyes, or my name is Sergio. I go by Sergio, and like that's my government name. So the ego is what the whole reason that we're using language right now, and the whole reason that you're interpreting these words when they're just like mumbles and vibrations. But it's through like our social programming and the ego that we're able to just act as humans. And once you do psychedelics, you remove the ego, and that's what a lot of people get scared about, is like removing those social constructs and who they think they are, because people generally have like a good feeling, like somebody might be confident, and then once they get to that ego death stage, they just lose all their confidence, like their whole world gets flipped upside down. And that's what psychedelics is doing. It's like you're removing all the brainwashing that you've been under your whole life, and you're seeing life from like a new perspective, kind of like from like a blank slate. And it's the most astounding thing ever, like how psychedelics can bring forth the states that they do.
Yeah.
And
speaking of whole new perspective, I've never seen a cowboy in a tracksuit, but here he is. Bird Dog, what's going on? How are you? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, howdy. Greetings. What's going on?
Not much. We know you from our episode of Esoteric America, episode 7, where we looked at Cartersville, Georgia, and the greater North Georgia, Eastern Tennessee area. It was really fascinating. So pleasure to have you here, dude. Want to introduce yourself, let people know about your YouTube channel and whatnot?
Oh, absolutely. If you guys check out my YouTube, I do it for free. I do it for the love, and I mix esoteric, all the esoteric, into crypto to use it as utility and practicality so that we can benefit from it, not only on all the spiritual levels and inner space, but just we need this matrix money. So that's what I specialize in. So if you guys want to join, I do it for the love. And then my real currency is energy. Just give and take and keep the energy flowing. But can I chime in on I came in because I'm coming in a little hot on secret societies. I'm not big on.
Fine, we got some final thoughts on the Ryan Burns interview. Okay, all right. Let's hear it.
I'm not big on secret societies, man. Using an analogy of like, your disciples hiding from the Romans because you'll get killed. That's a whole nother. You can't claim you're doing this to hide from persecution when all the G-men own everything. They're the Vatican and they took over everything, and they want to act like we're so noble. We need to hide this knowledge. And no, they lie, they steal, they fraud, they hurt, they harm people. No, we can't tell you because you can't handle it, Juan. It's like, no, we're out here. This whole show is about, uncovering the secrets for the people and the hidden knowledge. So
I like this cowboy, dude. I don't know where you fucking got this guy out from. What? Where's he brought his ass out from?
Rob has his hand up. Rob, you got some thoughts on what Bird Dog just hit us with?
Yeah. You can look at it from another angle, though. What if everyone's just so fucking stupid, right? And they're just so incompetent. And the only way to wake them up is to do such stupid shit that's so evil that you can't even imagine it being that, and then they do it just so you wake up. I'm not saying it's right, but if
you had a bad childhood, homie.
Counterpoint. I got a counterpoint.
Can I finish my sentence?
I apologize. Yes. I'm sorry.
All I'm saying is, I don't agree with the method, but there could be something to that idea, as perverted as it is. I'm not agreeing with.
I need a sock, so when Rob talks, I could have like a sock puppet. Go ahead.
Rob, I want you to have a spiritual awakening. I'm going to make your life so difficult so that force you to have a spiritual awakening. And you say, well, no, I didn't ask for this. Well, don't worry about it. I'm doing what's best for you. Well, you go, no, thank you. I go, well, too bad. I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to enslave you, impoverish you, make you unhealthy, make you eat garbage, just so you can have a spiritual awakening.
Aren't you supposed to do something about it to correct it for yourself?
That's Stockholm syndrome, dude. That's Stockholm syndrome, dude.
I don't agree with them. I don't agree with the action, but it's a possible thought and theory by a sick, perverted group of people.
So why would you listen to them?
Rob's just being the devil's advocate.
I'm not agreeing with that as an action. I'm saying they could potentially think that to themselves as a righteous, noble action, as wrong as it is.
Right.
They sound like losers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't defend them.
But why would I listen to a fucking loser? God damn it!
Why does everyone listen to them? Everyone's in their fucking house for 2 weeks to flatten the curve that turns into 2 fucking years. You all listen to them.
The goal is to enslave. Okay, boil it down. The reason they do
by
this,
Pfizer.
Exactly. It's to help you get out of here. It's to enslave you and eventually genocide you.
What if your perception's wrong? What if your perception is, holy shit, these motherfuckers woke me up. We got to fucking fix this and make a better society for each other.
Not buying it.
I mean, he's got a point. Capitalism says the best hammer, wins. You know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, you are sticking up for a group of people that seem to.
I'm not sticking up for them. That's where you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. The action's wrong.
Whatever, dude.
Thought may be the process.
Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying?
Do you understand what I'm saying, or am I not saying it clearly enough to you?
No, we get you. You're defending the lizard class.
Hey, I just want to point out.
Lizard class, we get it.
I just want to point out that Rob is not defending anyone. And Chris, yesterday, Rob told me that you're his favorite person on Illuminati Confirmed. So just think about that. Anyways, we're back here with 3III. And I just want to know, 3III, do you think that that maybe if the elites were doing psychedelics, they would just chill out and not enslave us? Do you think it's that simple that they would have an awakening, or do you think maybe that they're interested in other psychedelics like adrenochrome or a weird homunculus shit?
That's a great question. I honestly think that there's a left and a right side of the brain, and there's a good and a bad side. It's called duality. That's the whole reason why I hear that. What is it? the Aztecs, they used to murder like 70,000 people in the weekend, and they used to do it for their god and all that, you know, and they would be on psychedelics. So I feel like it's like a gun. You could use it for good or evil. And you've heard of like evil shamans doing horrible things, you know, and that's just like, and I get it too. So there's like there's that energy. Carl Jung calls it the shadow. And it's in everybody, you know. It's just we have a choice whether to identify with the shadow or to go towards the light, you know.
Right. And it seems like maybe they're programmed to not, you know, integrate that light into their lifestyle from a young age, which makes them primed and ready to take over their father or grandfather's business and continue the line of control. But yeah, who knows? Maybe in a higher order metaphysical way, they're fulfilling the same purpose that a wolf does when it kills a deer. I think that's really what Rob is arguing. It's not that, you know, a wolf killing a deer is an evil act that needs to be stopped. It's, yeah, the wolf can decimate all the deer if they're left unchecked, but, you know, for the most part, if the deer are unchecked, then, you know, the whole system breaks down. So you need the wolf coming in and causing bloodshed. Rob, you have your hand up.
It's also MK Ultra. I think that MK Ultra has a lot to do with it. These families are like corrupt, and they have like a bloodline that's been going on for like hundreds of years. Right. So they already know like the brainwashing tactics and how they're going to raise the next generation. I think psychedelics might have something to do with it in that brainwashing stage. It could just be like you training a dog to, like, you know, do any sort of trick. You're just training this next generation to be evil and stuff, you know?
Fuck yeah, dude. This guy fucking gets it, dude. So, just listen to this fucking dude. Just record this guy and just listen to it later, dude.
Well, we're recording it. That's what a podcast is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Juan?
I mean, yeah. Salute to what's his sorry, 3 Eyes?
3 Eyes.
Yeah, 3 Eyes.
I like that name. Thanks. That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Generating a scarcity mentality is not the way.
Right. And I don't think anyone here has a scarcity mentality. Let's be honest, you know.
Oh, I know not here, but we know the lizard class, they generate, that's what their whole, that's what their thing is to
impose that on their subservience. Yeah. Well, but then
it's also called economics.
Okay. Juan, your thoughts?
These fucking post shows with different people and different perspectives are fucking great. Like, I just like sitting back. I want to let them talk because they're all saying some really crazy, coherent shit, right? How Chris is saying it's everything is streamlined, which that's a skill in itself to be able to take these concepts and really put them out in a digestible form for people.
Dude, elevator pitch, bro. We not 1 point. No offense, Mark. You know what I'm saying? Elevator pitch me, bro.
Me? About
You're
what?
1.5 Mark, dude. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? I'm not. What am I pitching you on?
You seriously don't see the fucking connection I just made?
Elohim, elevator pitch. I said that earlier.
It take a long time to say shit. 1.5 speed, 1.5 Mark. You got to go fast, speed it up. You know what I mean? We got to get there. You know, we're on the 16th floor. We're only going to the 20th fucking floor, dude. Do you know what an elevator pitch is?
Get to the point.
Get to the point.
Fucking point, dog.
Okay.
Nah, but Mark's style is cool though.
All right, but thank you. But what was the point that I'm just failing to see what point you're pushing me to make?
You got to understand this shit quicker. Got to be able to spit it out fast. That's an elevator pitch. That's it.
Remember, he's the oldest one here, Mark. So he's.
No, I am actually.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, well, Rob is now. But
Rob is now.
Chris is the oldest co-host on this show, and it shows. We got to get you some Shilajit, Chris. It's good for your cognitive
some CBD
functions.
at night so you can relax, bro.
Got to get you some Shilajit. Grows in the Himalayan mountains. It helps cognitive functions. Rob, you could probably use some too.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways.
Sometimes I just like when people just spit it out. That's all.
Well, Well,
I agree.
I can't. I mean, listen. 3 Eyes has a knack for it. What do you want? I mean, if you put me on the comparison with all these great guests we have, sure, I talk slow. Sure, I make mistakes. Sure, I don't get to the point. Sure, Prosser.
No, it's all good, Mark. It's the weed, right? So you're talking in the Matrix, brothers.
All right, listen.
In the baby
No,
powder,
no.
bro. You know, it's all good, dude.
Listen.
I'm actually learning to slow down.
Yeah.
I'm learning to slow down, actually.
Yeah.
And pause in between sentences. I used to go rapid fire because I'm rant central, and I'm and I don't let anyone else jump in. And I'm starting to pause in between sentences, so I'm trying to like mellow out a little bit, you know.
It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn to do is stop and listen to somebody else. You know,
Yeah, listening is something I've been working on. Like,
The problem is that some people fucking make you dumber by listening to them. So you got to be able to decipher who you're going to listen to. You can't just listen to anybody either. You know what I mean? Because
Right. Yeah. If we listen to today's guest, he'll have you believing that secret societies are good. Ooh.
it's about the great work. But hey, shout out to Ryan. He's a good sport about it. And I think it was a good episode.
And dude, like, I didn't mean any disrespect by that shit. I'm just saying, like, if I understand this concept of the great work, I've looked at this thing from a lot of angles for a long time, right? And that's the basic concept. I understand that. So now with that being said, I couldn't wait for somebody to step in it, essentially, because what the fuck, bro? If that's the great work, why y'all dickheads then?
Yeah.
Fill me the fuck in.
Here's the difference, man. Our great work, our tribes, our various tribes that are really just one tribe, we share with each other how to grow the best food, how to prosper, how to be the most healthy. Here's some great information. Here's some beautiful speculation on history. Here's what may happen after you die with energy and all that. Like, we are an open book and we want to empower others. That's the difference between this tribe. We wish to empower others, not steal their illusion, depress others to, and go, all right, yeah. It's a problem, Chris. It's a problem with these people.
Well, a lot of people feel disenfranchised, and then they join a thing like a group or a lodge, and now they're, in the know. They're better than the average person. That's the feeling, right?
Wait. What comes first, the chicken or the fucking egg? You feel disenfranchised, so you get a shit life, or what? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what happens? You shit life, but you're in the best mood.
Right.
Those are the hardest to program. The ones that can, decipher their reality. So those are the people that they want to indoctrinate the most because they can break out of the system. How you're saying it's all about mindset, because if we perceive certain things, we create our own reality.
Joan of Arc took over fucking Europe because your voice.
She was a schizophrenic, bro. 100%. So.
And because you have a good one. You didn't have to have a bad life. It's based on these people propagating it. It's kind of like how certain illnesses didn't exist until they put up radio towers. Oh. Right? And then they go, well, now we have medicine for you. It's like, well, no, we would have been fine without radio towers healthy. We would have been fine, living a more natural life. But now we have a bad life. And, so yeah, Chris is right. What came first? So if you feel disenfranchised now, that's because it's been set up this way for, decades. It's been incrementally this way.
It's what we were talking about, the rats, Chris, before the show. Are you putting enough rats in one place? They all start. I
feel like people need to get mad, dude. We need to get mad. Like, that's really
your angry face, bro.
No, dude. Like, for real. Like, fuck that. Like, do you know that we live on planet paradise? Like, dude, everything you could ever. You know how good fishing is? It's like so fun. It's like you're out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much shit that is dope. You know what it's like to take mushrooms and go walk around the mountains? It's dope, dude. Yeah, this realizations and shit.
If this realm was a few feet further away from the sun, we might not even be here, bro. Or shifted a certain degree.
You just jack the wheel, bro. You just jack the wheel. Listen to me. Bro, it's planet paradise. We just need to fuck off and be decent towards each other. The great work or whatever the fuck. And it's real simple.
That is the great work. You being the best you can and being the best of the person next to you, so you cast the shadow you want to see. That's the great work.
But it's
you
been
being
inverted.
the best you can be, so that everyone else wants to be like you.
And it's been inverted so that those lodges that used to function teaching people that now are just making one person great, whoever's at the top of the hierarchy.
Bro, back in the day, people used to be hard as fucking nails. You know what I mean? Come for my shit. I'll fuck you up, you know? Mentality, you know what I mean? All the time, every day. What's up? But those are also the coolest dudes. They just want to like drink beers and hang out until you cross that fucking line, dude. And I just feel like we're becoming puss.
And yeah, there's a lot of you know, with calming, like soy boy type mentalities of not standing up. Like when good men do nothing, evil prevails. Like we can probably count on 1,000 quotes that go, dude, enough's enough. No, to these weak ass paper tigers, right? But the problem is, if you look around, trust me, I'm on your level, Chris. I've been on some rants where I'm like, let's go. But we're such a minority, dude. Like if you look around, the mission has been successful to suppress people's energy.
Yeah,
it's been successful.
Yeah,
they don't know history. They don't know anything. And you go, let's go. Look at these politicians or whoever that are evil. Let's do something about it. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. You know, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I mean, I got my shows tonight.
Totally. I get it.
And I'm so powerless. And then the big thing is, what can I do? I'm just one person, said 7 billion people. You know?
I'll tell you what, man. Bro. I'll tell you what though, during COVID, look at how many people mobilized to go just destroy shit in the streets, and none of them got COVID. But they all mobilized to fucking break the fucking Apple store.
Oh yeah.
True.
So just imagine if we all got together and did good.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It needs to be knowledge applied. So fucking simple.
It is.
It's divide and conquer.
Well,
the next looting season, man, I'm going shopping, dude. The next loot season, I could use some new stuff. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. But the only place I want to go loot is Lamborghini. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, bro, you know what? These lethal injections, man. Just tell them leave the keys in the Lambo, man. It'll be available.
Yo, can I play a voicemail that Chris left me the other day? Can I play that voicemail you left me, Chris?
I have no idea what I said.
Let's wrap up with that. We've got quite a long show here. We're past the 2-hour mark. Let's hear this and
let me know if you guys hear this.
Dude, everything I've been ever
Yep, we hear it. We hear it.
All right, so this is a voicemail that Chris left me the other day. Check it out.
Yo, Ron John, I forgot to tell you, we were talking earlier, but there's this commercial that keeps coming up whenever I'm watching internet stuff, YouTubes or whatever. But it's a Liberty insurance, that shit, mutual, I guess it is. And there's a bird that has like a robot voice. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it keeps coming up on my thing, and I thought you'd get a good little giggle out of that, you fucking bitch ass motherfucker. Anyways, hope you're doing good and not floating downstream. Give me a call, buddy.
Oh, how sweet. Checking in during Hurricane Ian. We were all worried about Juan a few days ago. He's okay.
Yeah, I'm good, bro. That was hilarious. I was like, what is the...
It's a robot bird, dude. It's a robot bird.
Where? In a commercial?
In the fucking, like I said, dude, it's a fucking Liberty Mutual commercial. And the guy's sitting in front of the Statue of Liberty. He's got a yellow table out. And there's a bird on the shit. And there's a seagull. And the seagull, he's got a pie or something like that. And he's got a seagull in front of him. Like maybe the seagull's trying to eat the pie or something. But it's using a robot voice. It's like, yo, like, but it's in like, you know what I mean? Through a
yeah.
I don't know. Google this shit, dude.
This sounds like Chris did some DMT. Speaking of that, 3 You ever seen the DMT elves, or for that matter, a DMT machine robot seagull?
Not a seagull, but I've definitely seen.
I'm at the trip to me.
You've seen the elves.
Yeah, and I've seen some Alex Gray stuff that he's painted.
Wait,
I've seen some of that
so
on my trip.
when you see the machine elves, because there's someone in the chat who seems to think they're all demonic. He said, oh, he's already gone, but he said Jesus is coming for his saints soon. Don't get left behind. So we might be able to guess where he's coming from, but I don't disagree with that. Who knows? But anyways, what do you think about machine elves? Are they like components of the universe? Are they good beings? Are they evil, demonic beings? What's the scoop?
That's a hard question. That's what Maps is trying to figure out right now. Maps is like mapping out the DMT world.
Yeah,
and they're trying to like make contact.
They don't have the best track record, that group there. I don't know. Some people seem to be pretty sketched out about Maps, but,
yeah, but Mark, what he's saying is that people come back with the same response, like same.
Yeah, oh no, I get
so they
it.
can map it out, which is odd with the name of the place. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, and not just that one. There's like another one, like I think it's in London or something like that. But Alex Jones talks about it. He says how they're fucking mapping out the DMT realm, but honestly, I don't think that they're that bad. Personally, I've made contact with them. I've seen them. They're just there, you know. They're just a part of the experience. I think it might be something internal. I think it's just myself, you know. Like I'm just trying to like entertain myself. So my perspective is that we're all the same person and we're all the same consciousness. We're just in different bodies. So everything is just an extension of myself and my consciousness.
Yeah.
And we're all God having a human experience, but God is looking at the earth, at his creation through each and every one of us, through all the insects and all the birds and all the animals and everything. God is having an experience through everything, you know, and like all the plants. Yeah,
it's almost like what they say about walking in somebody else's shoes. You know what I mean? Like weird.
Yeah, it's like it's empathy on 1,000%. You know, like you really do get to see life. Like once you do have an ego death, and it depends how far you leave your body, you're able to look outside of the eyes of other people's, and you're able to see how probably you affected somebody else through their eyes and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really crazy. It's pretty fucking intense what happens on psychedelics.
Hey, 3, are you able to astral project? Have you ever done that? Are you capable of that?
I've done it in a float tank. Rob's done it in a float tank.
That's sick. I want to try a float tank. But
Dude,
yeah,
go blasted.
I did. I was on like 500 milligrams of THC edibles.
Nice. What about you, 3?
Yeah, I've astral projected a lot, mostly on acid. But shrooms, when I do like above 5 grams, I start to get in that realm. So what I think it's that hemisync, what Robert Monroe talks about at whatever it is.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. You start to hear like a low vibration in your head. Well, this is at least my experience. I start to hear like a vibration in my head or like a slight ring, and then I start to follow it. Like I just start to go into like a meditative trance, almost like sleep, and then that's when I can feel myself rising out of my body, and it feels like I'm connecting to like a different frequency. I believe it might be the Schumann resonance that our brain is connecting to. So they say that Earth is emitting a certain frequency, and scientists say that our brains are also emitting a certain frequency. So I feel like those frequencies match up once you're on psychedelics or once you meditate, and you're able to like travel around the earth and stuff. But yeah,
do you know about this, the hemisync stuff, where they like, because everything has a vibration, so they off kilter them in stereo speakers in your ears.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to create a third part, like a third place, theta state. It's really interesting.
It's the hum you get. Yeah,
I think we're able to do that naturally. Like that's what sleep is. I think sleep is like the ultimate form of ego death, because we're basically just leaving our bodies there, defenseless, ready for something to attack it. And once you're sleeping, that's when your soul is like creating like a whole nother universe inside your brain. It's like you're having these experiences that feel like real life. And I think we're able to hemisync naturally, but like psychedelics just helps boost that hemisync.
Damn. Well, shoot. this has been a deep episode. We got takes from all across the country here, from Utah down to Georgia, up here in
Secret
CT.
Society lovers.
We got Secret Society lovers, Secret Society dislovers, Secret Society participants, all sorts of strange episode material here. This has been a great episode.
Hold on, before you go any further, this fucking, I'm on my Googles, dude, and there is all kinds of Liberty Mutual fucking ads, but none with the bird I'm talking about.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Mandela. Right.
We have the message, bro. We have
Chris.
the message. It's timestamped.
Wait, hold on. Is anybody on this panel from the East? Juan and Mark, you're excluded. Anybody else on this panel from the East Coast?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
So
have you heard of the Black Tom explosion?
What?
Never heard of it, right?
Exactly.
Was that when they blew up Wall Street in like the 1916 or something?
Nope.
No.
You're from the East Coast, and you never heard of the Black Tom explosion, right?
Is that when?
But I don't remember what it is.
Is that when?
I swear to God, I heard of it.
Is that when Tom Cruise
got us into World War II? It's the first terrorist attack on American soil. Yada 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 yada. We never heard of it, right? We never heard of it. We grew up in East Coast. I did too. Connecticut and Pennsylvania, New York. Never heard of it.
No, I've heard of it. I think Sam actually did an episode on it.
In 1916 in New York Harbor.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, Rob was right. I was going to say we were talking about when they...
Fuck, Chris.
Motherfucker.
I thought you were talking about when they blew up the Tom Cruise blackface footage.
They blew up the Wall Street in 1916.
You're both off because, Mark, you didn't get done reading the thing.
It says explosions which occurred on July 30th, 1916 in New York Harbor killed 4 people and destroyed some 20.
Did you say New York Harbor or did you say Wall Street?
Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake.
It's all right. It's all right. We're all here to have fun. Chris is the only person who's making it all.
It's fucking crazy, dude.
We're all here to learn. It's all good.
Yeah,
it's fucking bananas.
This was in Jersey. What does this have to do with anything, Chris?
Mandela effect.
Mandela effect, dude.
Because we haven't heard of it? That doesn't make it a Mandela effect.
Because of the bird, Mark. Pay attention, dog.
Yeah, but that's a Mandela effect.
I'm a Berenstein fan.
Yeah.
And I saw that stupid movie with Shazam. What's his face?
Oh, you've seen Shazam.
I did. I saw it in the fucking movie theater.
With a comedian named Sinbad.
With Sinbad.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Brilliant actor.
Movies in the theater.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, that's a great place to stop the show. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. The live stream number 2 will be back, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that. And for everybody who is waiting for Esoteric America, those are now going to premiere on Thursdays. So just loud and clear. That's going to be happening on Thursdays from now on. And Juan and Chris and I will be back next Thursday for everybody who signed up on the Patreon. So sign up on the Patreon. You'll get the first 40 minutes of this conversation that was cut out because of the live stream fumble. And then you'll get all the other bonus content that we do. And moving forward, we might cut the live stream around the second hour with guests like Bird Dog, Triple I, 3 Triple I, Rob, whoever's in the YouTube chat. So participate in the live stream each week, and you might find yourself right here on the show with us. But as for me, I got to go to sleep because Rob's going to pay me to work with him tomorrow morning. Right, Rob?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Juan, Chris, any final thoughts?
Check out my journal, The Occultist Monday, my website, the101podcast.com. Follow me on there. This is fucking great, guys. I really enjoyed this.
Cool.
Yeah, big shout out to these fucking dudes, Bird Dog and 3 Eyes and Robert, man. You guys are fucking rad. I don't know about our guest. He seems a bit wonky. Times 2. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck.
Yo, much love, everyone. Chris, I love your energy, man. Juan, you crushed it the other day. You and homie Romy on the Interverse. You guys were crushing it. If you guys are, I'm in my family thinks I'm crazy Telegram. Check out my YouTube. You can look up my name or Bird Dog 45. I have a Telegram too. I'm starting my own secret society. The only requirement is you need to bring a lizard person corpse.
Illuminati confirmed.
That's the only requirement. All right.
All right.
Much love.
Well, shit. Send that link into the Telegram chat. Everybody go to myfamilythinksimcrazy.com. You get the Telegram link there, and then you'll see Bird Dog's link as well. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and have a great moment wherever you are, confirmed in the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah.